Ever get that feeling? Like you're out staring up at the stars and it just hits you. Why is there anything at all?
Right.
And even wilder, like why are we here to even ask that question?
Yeah, that's the ultimate mystery, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
the one that's driven, what, philosophers and mystics for centuries, really.
Totally. And today we're taking a deep dive into one person's really unique take on these big questions.
Okay.
We're going to go a little off the beaten path here.
I'm intrigued already.
Yeah, diving into the world of this guy, Pedro Elias. He's a writer, lives in the heart of Portugal, and he's got some fascinating theories about creation, spirituality, and this like mysterious force he calls spiritual gold.
Okay, spiritual gold. All right, you have my attention. That sounds like something out of an Indiana Jones movie.
Right, like not your average Tuesday topic.
Right.
Elias's ideas, they come from a real blend of sources. Ancient legends, spiritual traditions, and even some unconventional interpretations of like well-known stories.
Okay, so where do we even start with unpacking something as big as like the meaning of existence?
Well, Elias, he starts with a question. He asks, like, what if even a perfect God might create something because there's something missing? Not in a sense of lack, but like a yearning for something totally new, something that doesn't already exist within the universe.
That's a really different spin on like the usual creation stories we hear, right?
Yeah.
Most of them focus on, a benevolent deity creating out of fullness, like the desire to share. But this idea of a giant yearning that suggests something else is kind of driving creation.
That's it. And here's the really wild part. Elias says this missing element, it isn't some like hidden force in the cosmos.
Right.
It's not something God simply finds. It's something that's actually created when consciousness, our human experience, interacts with, like the material world.
We're not just witnesses to creation, we're like active participants.
Exactly.
That's a pretty powerful concept.
And this is where Elias introduces the idea of spiritual gold. And it's not about literal gold, but this essence that's created through our like experiences, our choices, even our struggles. And he believes it's the key to fulfilling that, that divine yearning that we were talking about.
Okay, that's a lot to take in. So where do these ancient legends he draws on fit into all of this?
So he uses them as a way to illustrate his points.
Okay.
Almost like metaphors,
Sure, yeah.
He even brings in the Anunnaki.
Oh,
Those ancient alien gods from Nibiru.
Oh, yeah, the Anunnaki. Most famously known for supposedly creating humans as slaves to mine gold for them.
Right.
But if we're talking about spiritual gold, then I'm guessing Elias sees this whole thing a bit differently.
You're way ahead of me. He points out that it makes zero sense for, like, a super advanced civilization to need slaves for mining. I mean, they'd have technology for that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that always felt off about that story to me.
Right. So Elias suggests the Anunnaki story is actually an allegory. The gold they were after wasn't literal. It was this spiritual gold. Like, it was a metaphor for something way, way more profound than just digging in the dirt.
So how does humanity fit into this, like, allegorical gold rush then?
Well, Elias ties this into the origins of, like, humanity itself.
Right.
And this is where it gets even more intriguing because he's got a really unique take on the Lemurians.
The Lemurians,
Yeah.
as in the mythical civilization that supposedly predates Atlantis.
That's the one. Elias connects the Anunnaki story to this even older tale. He suggests that humanity was created, or maybe like engineered is a better word, specifically to be these vessels for generating spiritual gold. It's like we're walking, talking, alchemical chambers, refining something precious through our experiences.
Wow. Okay, so he sees our purpose as something far grander than just like living out our lives and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
We're actually contributing to something much, much bigger.
Exactly. And he doesn't shy away from like the messier parts of the human experience either. In fact, he leans right into it.
Well, remember that whole fall from grace thing with Adam and Eve?
Oh, you mean the classic tale of temptation and exile from the Garden of Eden? How does Elias interpret that?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
He believes Adam and Eve weren't like literal people, but representations of that first physical human race, the Lemurians.
Okay.
He describes them as living in a true paradise, a real Garden of Eden.
Yeah,
But
they were missing something. They were made in God's image, but God still yearned for this spiritual gold.
Right, you got it. And this is where Elias throws a real curveball. He says the fall wasn't a punishment, but a necessary stage in our evolution.
So leaving paradise was essential for us to, like, develop and ultimately fulfill our purpose.
Yeah.
Fascinating. How does that work? Elias says it, like, forced humans to develop individual egos, to experience the world in all its complexity, light and shadow. And it's through that process, with all its ups and downs, that we generate spiritual gold. It's like saying our flaws, our mistakes, our struggles, they're not just unfortunate side effects, they're actually crucial to our purpose.
That's a pretty radical way to reframe things, isn't it?
Right.
Our imperfections are actually essential.
And that idea really got me thinking about my own life. Like, what if those times I felt lost or, I messed up? What if those experiences were actually contributing to this bigger cosmic alchemy, like this creation of spiritual gold?
It's a powerful thought, isn't it? To find meaning and even purpose in the midst of challenges.
And it makes you wonder, if this spiritual gold is so important, how does it actually impact the universe? Like, what's the bigger picture here?
Well, that's where things get even more intriguing. Because to answer that, we need to talk about a physical element in Elias's story.
Okay.
The Grail.
Wait, hold on. The Grail. As in, like, the Holy Grail from, Arthurian legends. That Grail.
You got it. But Elias's interpretation connects it to something even older. He says it wasn't just one object, but actually 3 stones sent to Earth from the Sirius star system.
3 stones from Sirius. Okay, now we're venturing deep into cosmic territory. Tell me more. Okay, 3 stones from Sirius. This is getting good. But, like, why Sirius? What's the connection there?
So, according to Elias, Sirius is, it's where humanity's creators, the beings who kind of kickstarted our whole evolutionary journey, they originated there.
Yeah.
He believes these stones were like gifts, almost like tools for us to use on our, on our path to generating spiritual gold.
Gifts from an alien civilization to help us evolve our consciousness. Okay, I am definitely buckled in for this ride. But 3 stones, where on Earth did they end up?
That's where Elias, he brings in another layer to this whole cosmic puzzle.
Okay.
He links these stones to a set of legendary objects called the Chintamani stones. Have you ever heard of them?
Vaguely, yeah. They're from Tibetan Buddhist tradition, right?
Exactly. In some traditions, they're believed to be these like incredibly powerful objects, almost like wish-fulfilling jewels that fell to Earth from the heavens.
Right.
And in some versions of the story, they're connected to, you guessed it, the star Sirius.
Whoa, okay, so we've got Elias's interpretation of the Grail, these mysterious stones from Sirius A&D ties to, like, ancient Tibetan legends about powerful artifacts. It's almost too much to keep track of. Is there anything to suggest this isn't all just, myth and legend?
Well, Elias actually points to a piece of art as a visual representation of these stones. And it's not just any artwork. It's a painting called White Stone by Nicholas Roerich, that Russian artist and explorer who was like fascinated with Eastern mysticism.
Wait, I've seen that painting. It shows a white horse carrying 3 stones. It's surrounded by this intense, almost otherworldly glow.
Exactly. And Roerich himself was deeply interested in the concept of Shambhala, that like hidden city in the Himalayas.
Right, yeah.
That's often associated with the Chintamani stones. Elias, he uses this connection to show that the idea of these powerful stones has been, present in different cultures and traditions for a very, very long time.
So it's almost like Elias is weaving together threads from, like, all these different cultures and traditions to create, like, a larger tapestry.
Yeah.
But how does it all connect back to spiritual gold? What's the significance of these stones in relation to, like, humanity's purpose?
That's where things get really, really wild.
Okay.
Because according to Elias, these 3 stones weren't just like randomly scattered across the globe. He believes they landed in very, very specific locations to form, wait for it, a global energy grid.
Hold on. You're saying the Earth has an energy grid, like those chakras we talked about earlier?
Elias believes so. And just like our own energy centers, these planetary chakras are points of like intense power and connection.
Okay.
And the placement of these 3 stones, each one marks a crucial point on this global energy grid.
Okay. My mind is officially blown. But if these stones are like energy amplifiers for the planet, where did they actually land?
One landed in the Himalayas.
Okay.
Which makes sense when you think about all those stories of like spiritual seekers and hidden monasteries in that region.
Right, like the Himalayas have always had this like mystical reputation. Okay, so one in the Himalayas. What about the other 2?
Another stone landed in the Andes Mountains in South America. Again, a place known for its like ancient spiritual traditions and powerful telluric energies.
Okay, that's 2. The Himalayas, the Andes. Where did that 3rd stone end up?
Well, this is where Elias's theory gets really interesting.
Yeah.
And it might surprise you
Okay.
because that third stone landed in Portugal.
Portugal, of all places. What's so special about Portugal?
Well, not just any part of Portugal.
Okay.
Elias believes that the central region of the country, it's actually the heart chakra of the planet.
The heart chakra of the planet. You're saying Portugal is like the energetic heart center of Earth.
Exactly. And remember those three stones, those powerful amplifiers.
Yeah.
According to Elias, central Portugal is where that central stone, it resides, making it this like incredibly potent point of connection between heaven and earth.
Wow.
He describes it as a place where like the veil between the spiritual and material is thinner. A place where it's easier for people to connect with their souls and tap into their own like innate capacity for generating spiritual goals.
So Portugal is like this energetic wellspring for the planet, amplified by this special stone.
Yeah.
No wonder Pedro Elias decided to live there.
Right. It's almost like he's like living on top of an energetic gold mine.
Right.
But here's the thing. Elias doesn't believe you need to travel to Portugal or, perform any elaborate rituals to access this energy. He says it's available to everyone everywhere if we just we just know how to tap into it.
Okay, I love that. It's not about some like exclusive pilgrimage or something. It's about something within all of us. But how do we actually do that? How do we connect with that like deeper energy, that spiritual gold in our own lives?
Well, Elias talks about the importance of like presence.
Yeah.
Of slowing down and paying attention to the subtle energies around us. He even wrote this beautiful passage about it.
Yeah.
Almost like an invitation to experience this for ourselves.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. What does he say?
Elias writes, and I'm quoting here, "There is a place in the world where silence can almost be touched, where the wind carries the fragrances of our soul that we can feel as the caress of a mother who comforts us. There's a place in the world that welcomes us like a mother, cradling us back to ourselves so that the contained crying of all past cycles can free us in the tears finally expressed and felt that will heal everything. That place is here, in the heart of the world, in the center of Portugal, equidistant from the Andes and the Himalayas, the vertical and central pillar of the ascending flame that transforms everything. Here, in the waters that serve as its mirror, the eternal child will awaken from his secular dream, and in the heart of each awakened being a white dove will bloom, which will return home."
Wow. That's incredibly powerful. It's almost like he's describing a return to the Garden of Eden, but not in like a physical sense, more like an internal homecoming.
Exactly. And he goes on to invite people from all walks of life to come to these sacred lands and rediscover their true essence, their connection to the divine.
It's interesting though, he doesn't like prescribe any specific practices or like rituals, does he?
No.
He talks about embracing the silence, about simply being present in this special place.
Right. It's like he's saying the energy itself is enough. We just need to like show up and be open to it.
Yeah.
And remember, this isn't just about, like individual growth either. Elias, he believes that as more and more people connect with their souls in this way, it will actually like amplify the fragrances of the Holy Spirit, radiating love and positive energy throughout the entire planet.
So it's not just about like finding yourself, it's about adding your own like unique energy, your own spiritual gold to the collective, contributing to the awakening of the entire world.
Precisely. It's a call to action disguised as a poetic invitation.
Okay. I don't know about you, but after hearing all of this, I am feeling a sudden urge to book a flight to Portugal.
I hear you. But you know what? I can't help but wonder.
What if this isn't just about Portugal? What if like every place has this kind of energy, this unique significance, and we've just like forgotten how to tap into it?
That's a really intriguing thought. It actually reminds me of like those ancient cultures that built their temples and monuments on like specific energy points of the earth.
Right, like Stonehenge.
Yeah.
The pyramids, even those like mysterious stone circles that are scattered all over Europe.
Right.
What if those weren't just random locations? What if they were built on these like power spots for a reason?
It makes you think about the places, where we live and work every day, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Our homes, our cities, even those like, quiet spots in nature that we're like drawn to.
Right.
What if they're all like resonating with subtle energies that we're just not paying attention to?
It's like we're surrounded by this symphony of energy, but we're so caught up in our busy lives that we've tuned it out.
Yeah.
Elias even talks about how like modern technology might be contributing to this disconnect,
Mhm.
creating all this like mental noise that drowns out these subtler frequencies.
That makes sense. But just like we can learn to be more mindful of, our breath or our bodies.
Right.
Elias seems to be suggesting that we can also cultivate a kind of like energetic awareness.
So how do we do that? How do we retune ourselves to these subtle energies? It's not like we can just download an app for that, right?
Well, Elias talks about it in terms of like presence. It's about slowing down, being more mindful of our surroundings, and paying attention to how different places like make us feel.
So like instead of just like rushing through our day on autopilot, we,
Hmm.
we start to notice things like maybe how peaceful we feel in a certain park.
Yeah.
Or like that surge of creativity we get when we're, I don't know, in a bustling cafe.
Yeah.
What if those feelings are actually clues, like signals from these subtle energies?
Exactly. And it might be different for everyone.
Right.
Some people might feel more energized in nature, while others, they feel it in like, the heart of the city.
Yeah, yeah.
Elias, he encourages us to become like explorers of our own environments,
I like that.
to pay attention to what like resonates with us on a deeper level.
That's really cool. So it's not necessarily about like traveling to some far off destination to find this spiritual goal.
Right.
It's about discovering the magic in our own backyards.
I agree with that.
Finding those places that spark something within us.
And maybe, just maybe, by like tapping into those hidden energies, by becoming more conscious of our own impact,
Yeah.
we could each contribute to the creation of a more like, harmonious and loving world.
A world where this spiritual gold, this essence of love that Elias talks about,
Yeah.
it's amplified, not just in like special places, but everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's a pretty beautiful vision, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we're not separate from this, like this web of life. We're woven into it.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, the key to like unlocking a brighter future lies in rediscovering that connection.
Yeah.
Both to ourselves and to the world around us.
So as you go about your day today, try paying attention to the subtle energies around you. What do you feel? Where do you feel most alive? You might be surprised by what you discover. Who knows? You might even find yourself stumbling upon your own hidden source of spiritual gold.